All right, baby, welcome to Synth Wars. We'll get started. You guys let me know if the audio and video is good. We had a special episode lined up tonight. Can't remember what I called it. I think I called it Synth Scams. Was Echo Kraft? No, it was Espen Kraft, right? That's the title of the show. Because Echo Kraft is always right. But the more and more I think about it, the more and more I think that Espen Kraft was absolutely breathtaking in his delivery, breathtaking in his execution, and breathtaking in his ability to create an algorithmic wave that anybody who got it had a good time. The people who didn't get it didn't have a good time, and it was pretty hilarious to watch a lot of the people spazzing out. And like Espen said, he'll say in a second, a lot of people had a lot of sore butts last week, and they probably needed to powder those things up. But a lot of people had sore vocal cords from laughing their butts off so hard. And so what I'm gonna do tonight is just gonna recap it a little bit, gonna show his latest video he posted, show his new channel that he's got, which he did another very genius and brilliant move. A lot of respect for Espen Kraft after this. And I'll tell you something right now, I lost a ton of respect for people that I really respected. And it's interesting like that, isn't it? It's kind of interesting when veils get lifted and you see behind the curtain and you're like, wow, man, some people can be pretty crazy. Including myself, but I'm always crazy, so I think I get a pass, right? You guys give me a pass? So who do we got here? We got Space Capsule, we got John Costello, we got Country Fair, we got Smarty 1970, we got Seth, we got Uncle Jerry's World, Machines One, and more, man. They're all Absurd TV. Everybody's filling in here now, which is wonderful to see. Heathcliff, what's happening? Kieran Moore, QWL Music, everybody's here. So I don't think we need to waste any time because I'd like to devote the majority of the show tonight to taking some calls. So we'll just recap this real quick, open up the phone lines. If you guys want to call in, you can call in, and we'll probably do it for about an hour and then we'll cook it, all right? So you guys in the chat can kind of go over what you think, but like I said, I don't want to bury the lead. The lead of the show was Espen Kraft, right? Are the majority of synthesizers scammed? Now, that word's got some nuance to it, some very good nuance to it, but let's just get going with the show. So let's jump on over here. Here he is, Espen Kraft's site. Now, as you look and look very closely, let me know if that music is a little too loud too. You guys let me know. What's up, Enoch Cole? What's happening, baby? Yeah, if you don't mind, hit the like button. If you're first time here, like, share, and subscribe. Okay, hold on, before we get started, let me get this interrogation room background out of here, because that's a little too much for this show. That's made for the Juno Diddy show. Hold on there now. There we go. That's a little more better. Let's get our, yeah, that's more comfortable. That's way more comfortable than this. When I looked at that the other day, I was like, that light's making me feel hot. I felt like I was getting interrogated, but that's gonna come later. All right, so we look over at the legend site right here, and I'll call him a legend because he's an absolute legend, and he deserves respect. Look at this. He's got about 93,500 subscribers. That's big time. And then I looked at a lot of people and their responses to him, man, I saw a lot of damn jealousy. And then when I went exploring the nooks and crannies of YouTube and checking out some things behind the scenes, man, some of the stuff I saw was vile, it was nasty, it was downright disturbing. And to be quite honest with you, the people who said that kind of crap, they would never say it to the man's face, because if they said it to the man's face, they would have got their face smacked in, and that's why they say it behind his back. That's my take on it. But I ain't gonna mention no names. You guys know exactly who you are, because you loaded old Samurai up with some digital bullets too. But we ain't gonna do that, man. We ain't going down to the lower levels of the frequency. But I'm just letting you know, man, that was very interesting to watch, very interesting to see. It was like, what's that character in Batman, Two-Face? They show you one face over here and another face over here. Crazy, 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 crazy. Okay, so Espen Kraft's site here, 93,000 subscribers. we're not going to go over the video. The Great Synthesizer Scam was the one, and he hits about 40K right now on the ticker. But if anybody knows anything about YouTube, on the back channels, that could be up around, we could be looking at around 50,000 clicks right off the bat, right away. So that's pretty good haul when it comes to YouTube fishing, you know? If you're a fisherman, that's a good haul. You've hauled in a load of little digital fish there. Now, the thesis of his argument is that you're paying too much for everything. A lot of things are just glorified VSTs and boxes. Nothing's really analog anymore. There's always a digital component to it. Why are you going to pay thousands and thousands of dollars for synthesizers when you can get it right in a box with VSTs? And if you actually want real synthesizers, why don't you just go out and get some Behringers, and Behringers will break. And we're not going to get into the part where we talked about a lot of these guys just got synthesizers behind them and stuff. But now that I think about it, I kind of know what he was doing there. It's a little more nuanced than I thought. I thought he was talking about me and you. He wasn't talking about me and you, man. I know exactly who he was talking about. He's talking about the hounds. He's talking about the hounds, baby. Okay? Talking about the hunting dogs serving their masters. That's who he's talking about. Okay? And he gets into that in a little bit. But he's talking about the hounds out there. All right, so let's look over here. He just posted a video right here. Let me see. This is my site. But this is his response. Okay, let's just check this out real quick.
I recently made a video that made the synth world go bonkers. And admittedly, this is a relatively small world, but nevertheless. And the reactions have been many, and there's...
Look at the delight on that beautiful man's face. I love it. I absolutely love it. I want to cut in. Someone told me the other day, don't go pausing and reacting to the video. It's like, this is a reaction video. You know what I mean? That's what this is. Hold on.
In reaction videos for the first time, I think. I've had people make...
Oh, hold on now. Listen, we got no moderators in the chat. Don't go swearing in the chat, man. Come on. There's no need to be vulgar in the chat. I don't be vulgar on my show. You know, when you use swear words, it's kind of like a little bit also low vibration, man. We don't need to be swearing.
Making reaction videos to my video, several in fact. And so I made a reactions video to the reactions video, and I even made a brand new channel for this, which you can find here. It's called I'm Espen Kraft and You're Not, and I'm going to use this channel to, well, to put out videos that won't fit into my regular channel, which you're watching right now. So from now on, my regular channel will be just that, regular videos, gear, demos, etc., music, as it's always been, and I'll put my other videos into this I'm Espen Kraft and You're Not channel. So check that out now if you want to, and if not, that's okay. Thanks for watching. I'm Espen Kraft, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.
All right, so I don't know, it's kind of crazy. Was that video just to launch his other channel, his Rant and Roar channel that he's going to set up? But also, just speaking from a little inside baseball, when you do a channel like, for example, mine or what Espen is trying to do, you get some, it's called algorithmic interference. So what happens is you get this algorithmic interference, whereas if you're posting music and demos and reviews and rants and lifestyle, it just screws everything up. So it seems what Espen's kind of do here, man, he's like, I'm just going to separate. I'll have my Rant and Roar live stream channel, and then I'll do my demos, my video, my music on the other channel. A lot of people do that. Me, myself, I'm just keeping everything in one go, man, because this is a Synth Samurai universe. You know, we're going to do everything. All right. So that was it. He was just, you could see he's pretty happy about it. Now, we're going to go over to his other channel here, which, as you can see, I've liked and subscribed to already because I'm excited for it. I'm Espen Kraft and You Are Not. A very cool name. We'll play that in a second because his reaction to the reaction is very cool. And then I went and looked up what this thing is all about. He was talking in there, and it's very, very interesting. But let me turn the music on for a sec. So when Espen made this, unbeknownst to a lot of people, this was one of those moments where, let's just call us digital surfers. A lot of people, when they surf, they can't catch a wave because they just can't anticipate it coming. They can't really gauge, and they'll paddle out with their surfboard and then they'll stand up and fall off. They'll paddle out with their surfboard, stand up, and fall off. They just can't anticipate the flows of the ocean and the waves, and they can't see when a wave is coming. But those who did see the wave coming, the algorithmic wave, jumped right on it. And one of the cats that jumped on it is right here. Myself, I jumped on the algorithmic wave right away. Myself and Espen Kraft. I fished a good 2,300 views out of that, given my opinion. So I caught a little wave, you know, not the biggest. I didn't catch the biggest one because, you know, I'm an amateur, man. I just kind of slipped in there, caught a good wave, fell off the board. Me and Echo jumped in over here. If you can see, we caught in. We got a cool 1,700 views right there. Caught a little wave on that. You know, that wasn't bad. But then the big dogs jumped in right here. Where are we? The big dogs jumped in right here. Ricky Tenez. Now this is a professional digital surfer. This cat jumped in and he netted a cool 30,000 views. Now think about that. Ricky Tenez, as a consummate professional digital surfer, he saw Synth Samurai get up on that wave. I went first. I was like, I'm catching his wave, man. I'm catching his wave. I swam out. Everyone was like, oh, he's going to catch the wave. He's going to catch the wave. I got up and bam, fell down. Old Ricky Tenez, man, took his time. He was waiting out past the break. He knew the big one was coming. He let it build. He let YouTube he let it percolate. And then old Ricky Tenez went, but he didn't go before old Miles away. Old Miles jumped in with a cool 10 grand, baby. Miles knows when it's coming. Miles jumped in, he caught a real nice wave. But old Ricky, point break, baby. The Keanu Reeves of YouTube. Bow, 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 paddled out, and he caught the biggest wave. He almost equaled Espen's video with a cool 30,000 views on the surface behind, and the back end is probably up to 35, could be 40 by now. So that's some consummate pros. We're not going to go over the reactions because the reactions to me, with all due respect, were just, you know, what do you call them? They're, what's the word for that kind of reaction? Fluff. It was just fluff, you know, just a lot of fluff, a lot of beautiful, non-combative fluff. Taking no side fluff, because guess what? They were just out there surfing, man. They're not trying to get in fights with any of the other surfers. They're like, there's a wave coming, I'm gonna catch it. All right? Where a young buck like me caught a wave and didn't get the big one. But Espen goes back and he says, all right, let's do this right here. I'm gonna make a new channel out of this whole thing. I got a big whack bam with the video, and here comes Espen with his response to the responses. Oh, don't forget, we had Inhalt make a video. We had a couple of the other guys make videos. The real nasty dudes made some real nasty stuff, but you know what? No one will ever see that because I don't think anybody really watches that at all. So I'm probably the only person that watches it besides them, right? But they were some nasty, nasty stuff. All right, so let's check this out.
Hello everyone and welcome. To help calm the troubled mind and soothe some sore butts, I'm going to read to you the story of Todd and Copper, also known as the Fox and the Hound. And this is a story about friendship and loyalty. And I'm going to read it to you in Norwegian because that's a language that's also known to help soothe the troubled mind. So let's go.
Well, Norwegian don't soothe my mind, brother, but I do appreciate you reading it in your native language, and that's cool. And I just want to hear a little bit.
Todd og Copper.
So anyways, he got the Disney story, all right? So I said, you know what? What can I do? I looked around today. I didn't have much time. I was like, man, I want to do a video on this tonight. I don't have to get no time to go get no AI software and retranslate all this stuff. So I went and looked into it myself, and I was like, I think I can synopsize this pretty quickly and kind of give you a gist of what the Norwegian Espen was reading to you. And he read the Disney story. Interesting enough, this was based on a novel that was much more intense and quite different. And to me, that's one of the greatest. For 12 minutes, he just reads the Disney storybook or whatever that is. I think it's genius because guess what? Everybody went and clicked it looking for the response. It only came at 9 hours ago. It's got 2,200 views right now. It's crazy. Yeah, I call Espen a socialist too, and he might be a socialist. I don't know, but I like him. I don't think he is anymore. I think Espen's a martial artist, man. I think he's above the, there's certain things in life that once you start thinking a certain way, the groups disappear, you know? There's no socialists and communists, and there are those, but you're not going to put yourself in any of those categories because you're just above them. And that's what I feel like Espen is. Espen's above all that, to be blatantly honest with you. I think he's elevated himself spiritually, psychologically, and mentally to a level now where all that stuff is, leave that for the lower frequency realm. That's my opinion. And he did some synth jujitsu here, and it was absolutely genius, like I said before. But let's go. So he read that book. I'm going to go over and just pop this open real quick. I got the plot right here to the Disney version, and then I'll just go through the actual story because they're quite different. But when I read this to you, you guys just kind of get the idea, all right? Let's see. Here we go. So the book is written by Mannix, blah, 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 blah. Okay, Disney's version of the book is about a red fox and a hunting dog who befriended each other as puppies, only to become enemies as adults. So just think about Espen's video as I'm reading this, and think about the reaction from a lot of the people he was on the come up with, who are now, we'll get into it in a second. I expected to read a stronger, more adult version of this tale in the book, so he read the kid's stories. That's what we're going through. But to my surprise, it's not there, not at all. In the book, Todd and Copper don't know each other as pups. So far from the very start of the movie has nothing to do with the book. But the idea is pretty powerful. Friends as kids, only to become enemies as adults. So we can see a storyline here, right? To come up with all the synth, let's call them the synth. I don't want to do it. Yeah, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. We'll get into it. But the synth guys, the guys who came on the come up together, the synth guys, you know? Friends as kids, only become enemies as adults. There's a lot of story potential in the concept, and when I first watched it, I wondered if it would play out as it was to be Disney. The movie starts off with Todd's mother shot by hunters off camera. Todd's raised by an old woman as a pet. Meanwhile, on the farm next door, the hunter brings home a new puppy named Copper. All right, so Todd's a fox. And the older dog. Chief is annoyed having to tolerate this kid. Both pups wander off and meet. They're kids, so they don't know they're supposed to be enemies. And they do normal kid stuff together. After 2 scenes and about 3 minutes of screen time together, Todd and Copper are separated. Todd grows up into a sneaky fox, and Copper is trained to be a hunting dog. I can't help but think that this is kind of a story about the synth mafia versus the synth renegades, and I think I'm going to give the title of Chief Renegade to Espen. Espen's the Chief Synth Renegade, and I think we just saw it play out. All right, so we got 2 groups here. We got Todd's and we got Copper's. We got someone with no master, and we got someone with a master. We've got Synth Renegades and we got Synth Mafia. You kind of see how this is playing out now. It's kind of weird how this is all working. All right, so they jump in a pond and soon they meet. Copper has to go home. It's the only time together and they don't do anything. If the theme of the story is their friendship, you'd think Disney would go out of their way to show them being friends. You know, kid stuff in the country like cow tip, pink chicken, blah, 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 blah. But they don't do any of this. They meet twice, do nothing together, and then they're adults. We're told over and over they had good times as kids, but we never see it. The whole point of the movie is to show 2 childhood friends becoming enemies as adults. But the movie totally fails to get that across. So when Copper has to hunt Todd at the will of his master, when Copper has to hunt Todd at the will of his master. Let me read that again. When Copper has to hunt Todd at the will of his master. When the Synth Mafia has to hunt the Chief Synth Renegade at the will of their masters. The big, bad Synth Illuminati. You kind of getting it? The only scene from the book that made it into the movie is when Chief is hit by a train. Ironically, this could have been a moment that they become enemies, and the movie tries to use it in this way, but it fails. In the book, Todd knows there's a train coming and intentionally leads Chief onto the tracks, just as it does. In the movie, Todd is running for his life, and the train happens to come by at the same time. Copper hates Todd for what happens to Chief, but the anger is misplaced because it really isn't Todd's fault. It's an accident. As if it weren't weak enough, Chief doesn't die in the movie, but merely injured. Why Disney softened that, we don't know. It's not like Todd hasn't killed off any characters before. Or it's not like Disney hadn't killed off any characters before. Alright, we keep rolling. Meanwhile, Copper and his master are hunting Todd and his new girlfriend out of vengeance. The chase scenes are well animated, kudos in the background, artists, animators, blah, 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 blah. But again, not convinced, blah, blah, blah. I actually felt worse for Todd and the old lady when she leaves him in the woods and drives away. That relationship is built up a lot better than the one between Copper and Todd. Finally, Todd saves Copper's master from a bear. Todd saves Copper's master from a bear. And because of this, Copper convinces his master to spare Todd's life. This undermines the point of the whole movie. Their alleged childhood bond doesn't come into play at the end. Todd's recent act of attacking the bear is what convinces the hunter to spare his life, not friendship. It's a very weak climax, blah, 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 blah. All right, so that's, you kind of get the idea of that, right? We get the idea of that. Now, we jump over here. We got the plot of the real movie here, right? I guess I gotta open up the book here, but I'll just read this real quick. You can kind of get an idea. Copper, a bloodhound crossbred, was once the favorite among his master's pack of hunting dogs in a rural country area. However, he now feels threatened by Chief, a younger, faster, black and tan coonhound. Copper hates Chief, who is taking Copper's place as the pack leader. During a bear hunt, Chief protects the master when the bear turns on him. While Copper is too afraid of the bear to confront him, the master ignores Copper to heap praise on Chief, and Copper's hatred and jealousy grows. Oh, I got some lag on the screen. Must have too many things open. Todd is a red fox kit raised by as a pet by one of the human hunters who's killed his mother and his litter mates. Todd initially enjoys life, but when he reaches sexual maturity, he returns to the wild. Because he needs a mate. All right, as Chief skillfully trains the fox, Todd flees along the railroad tracks when a train is approaching. Waiting to jump to safety until the last minute, Chief is killed by the train. With Chief buried and the master crying over a dead dog, he trains Copper to ignore all foxes except for Todd. Over the span of the two animals' lives, man and dog hunt the fox, the master using over a dozen hunting techniques in his quest for vengeance. With each older, experienced vixen who gives the kid a litter. But before they're grown, the master finds a den and gasses the kits to death. The winter, the master sets out, leg holds traps, with Todd carefully learns how to spring, but the vixen is caught and killed. In January, Todd takes a new mate with whom he has another litter of kits. The master uses skilled hunting technique in which he sits very quietly in the woods, playing a rabbit call. Why does this thing keep moving? Anyways, blah, 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 blah. As the years pass, Todd's haunted. The master spends most of his time drinking. People begin trying to convince him to move into a nursing home where the dogs are allowed. No dogs are allowed on summer. Blah, 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 blah. He uses traps, blah, blah, blah. Master takes him out, boom, kills him. That's basically the story. Right? So that's where we're at. I don't know if that made any sense at all, but that's kind of how I'm interpreting. I'd love to hear Espen's idea of how this is interpreted. I feel like, let me X this out because it's jamming up my screen. Jam that out. Now, before we open up the phone lines, I'll go jump this over. This is expensive synthesizers. Look at this. $63,000. Analog Solutions Colossus. Analog Solutions Colossus Classics, $35,000. Buchla Skylab, $15,000. Moog 1, $10,000. Moog 1, $9,000. Nords, 8,000, 7,000, 6,000, 6,000, 6,000, 6,000, 3,000, 5,000, 5,000. All right, so these are expensive, man. So, is it a scam or not? I have no idea. You guys got to be the ones to judge that. But I actually am pretty down with how Espen has orchestrated this whole beautiful synth jujitsu. It's breathtaking. All right, so let me jump back over here. Well, bam. Let me jump over here. I'm gonna open the phone lines up right now. You guys can call in. Let me know what you think. Let me put my chair up, get some action in here. All right, phone lines are gonna be open now in 2 seconds, because I'd rather talk to you guys than me talk. So here's the phone lines. I'm opening them up. Do not disturb is now off. 413-279-4344. If you call in, turn your radios down, or whatever you're listening to this on. CB radio, internet, turn it all down, and give a call in. Let me know, man, was Espen Kraft right? Are synthesizers a scam? Did he do the greatest truffle troll job of all time? Is it genius what he did? Was the reaction warranted? All right, first call's coming in.
From
Saucy Synth.
All
to
right.
accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
What's happening? Yeah, you're online. What's up, my baby? Can you hear me?
Call from
Saucy Synth.
All right, Salty Synths, you online? I guess you hung up, man. Try again. 413-279-4344. 413-279-4344. We only got one line here, man, so it's going to come in. Sometimes we get double calls. All right, hold up.
Call from
Ramen.
All right, Ramian, you're online. What's going on, my brother?
Hey, I used to work with Mattia.
Hey, what's happening? You used to work with Mattia. Let's hear it. That's a beautiful call to get. What do we got going on? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm a Behringer bro too.
Oh, baby, we got a Behringer bro on the line? What?
Yeah. And my team works with you. That's all I can say about that. You know what I'm talking about. But I used to work with Mattia. He's an all right guy. Kind of a I can't say anything.
Was he
but
fired?
he's an all right guy. But I love Espen Kraft, and I use digital, analog. I use everything. I've been doing this stuff for like 35 years.
Yeah.
And I love that new video that Espen just did on his new channel.
Isn't it genius?
Yeah.
Dude, it's crazy genius. So let me ask you.
Yeah, I love your shows. I don't watch them all.
I mean, how could you? There's too many to watch. I don't even know what I'm doing half the time, dude.
Yeah, no, that's all right. It's all right. I love it. It's kind of weird though. I've never called in, and I think I can hear my voice in the background.
Oh, just mute your TV or your phone or laptop.
All right. That's kind of funny. It's like a couple seconds behind. But wow, I'm on YouTube Live. You know, I got most of my videos censored from YouTube.
Why? What happened?
Team stuff.
Really?
Yeah, MI stuff, military intelligence stuff.
Can't
really talk about it.
Makes sense.
But anyways,
makes sense.
I love what you're doing. Keep it up with the Behringer stuff. I'm glad you didn't get rid of the MPC one yet, because one of these days I'm going to get one and I'm going to have to ask you some questions.
I'm going to
I
have
was
to
that
hold on
guy
to
that
it.
told you all the sense that I had like a month ago.
Yeah.
And I told you to keep that. Remember that?
Yep. And I did keep it. And I'm still, there's a reason, man. I don't know why. You know, there's just a reason I'm keeping that thing.
Yeah, I think you should. I don't know why either. Normally I've just say get rid of it. I've gotten rid of so much stuff and bought so much stuff. But for some reason, maybe it's just because I'm gonna have to ask you how to use it in the future, even though I love reading manuals.
Well, you know what?
I used to work at this company with Mattia. It was a record label called Asphodel Records.
Okay.
And he's a good guy. He knows his shit. In Halt was him, Brian Gibbs, and my buddy Philip. Philip and Brian Gibbs, I think, started the band, and now it's just Mattia. I haven't talked to Mattia in years. But as much as, you know, I want to say, like, yeah, he's a rich kid and stuff like that, and blah, blah, blah. Realistically, though, he's got a good heart, and he's always put a lot of work into sound design and synth stuff that, you know, like my friend President Trump. Sometimes you can be a rich kid and do the world a great justice. And,
yes, indeed.
And I think Mattia's heart's in it, but I also like Espen Kraft. I don't agree that everything's a VST in a box, because realistically, like I said, I've been doing this for 35 years. You could have bought a Juno back in the day, and somebody might have said that was, you know, Juno 106 or 60, and that was overpriced. And when everything went to DCOs, You know, somebody could have said that a Juno wasn't the real thing because it wasn't a Jupiter 8, you know? So
Yep.
it's like over the years, things have changed. I still love my Nord I don't do modular, but I do have a Nord modular G1. I still love that thing. I still love my Nord leads, you know, the old ones. So, hey, you know, I think they're all good
It's all
people.
good.
Even that Ricky Tynes guy's a good guy.
They're all
but I
good.
won't listen
Everyone's
to
a
any
good
more people
guy.
bashing Espen.
Yeah. The thing, I thought it was a beautiful display of how you can create a digital wave and you can jump on it and ride it and have a good time. And Mattia, is it Mattia? How do you say it? Mattia?
It's Mattia.
Yeah, Mattia kind of like, I felt like he was just fired up and emotional and protecting his kind of his castle, you know. It's like, man, this is
Well, you know, I live in San Francisco, and that's where he lives too. I think he might have moved to LA, but just like Ricky Tynes, you know, when you work for the companies,
yep,
you know, you get a discount and stuff. Hey, I used to work at Guitar Center for 6 years. And I tell you, every single one of those cats and everybody in the techno and house scene out here, they used my personal discount. So those people all know how to work shit and get things cheaper. And you know, but I met the guy from Sequential Circuits before he died and stuff, Dave Smith. And I get it. You know, there is a price. Hey, if these things, I'm from Flint, Michigan.
Yep.
You know, General Motors, you know, my dad retired from there. I want everything made back in America again.
Me too, brother.
Or,
Me too.
you know, if you live in Canada, you know, made in Canada. You know what I'm saying, though? It's just like everything, if things were made here and for a while, things will be more expensive when they start getting made here again. But, you know, we can't just keep having stuff made like overseas.
No.
You know, and nothing wrong with like people in China need to work too. But, you know, they can put all the smog up in the world. You know, in China, they don't have the same regulations as we do. We're overregulated anyways. But it's like, we need to have things made here. And it's going to be a little bit more expensive in the beginning. I love, you know, Uli Behringer.
Yeah.
Yes. Is Behringer stuff made overseas too? Yes. But from the very beginning, this goes back to the old Behringer composer, his first compressor. You know, he wanted to give people a studio in their bedroom that they could afford.
Yep.
And did he have a lot of really cheap products like mixers and stuff back in the day? Now they're fine. Yeah, of course he did. But when he started making, you know, throwback synths for all of us that have never been able to get those, or they're on the market now. And I've had some of those old synths. I never had like Jupiter 8s and stuff, but, you know, I've had Junos and, you know, JX10s and all that type of stuff. But I'm telling you, what he's doing, all the patents are up. Everybody, like, I love Arteria, you know.
Yep.
Everybody's been making copies online, you know, I mean, virtual, you know, VSTs and stuff.
People don't have a problem with the VST clones. They only have a problem with the hardware, which is kind of weird to me. Yeah.
Exactly. You know, so it's like all these people that shit on Uli Behringer, you know, it's just messed up. Even Moog, when my buddy, he's part of my team, by the way, but I can't really get into that. When my buddy, Mr. T, we'll just call him Mr. T, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
When he was still technically our president, technically, because he's still kind of there, commander in chief. But when he was back there and he told people that he was going to start putting tariffs on China and stuff, everybody in North Carolina at Moog, they just started bitching. I used to be on Synthopia and pay attention to that. I talked about it on Synthopia. I'm like, hey, all you guys do at Moog, and I used to have Moog stuff. You know, I had a Voyager when they first came out, when Robert was still alive. And then I bought some of the new stuff. But then I stopped buying the stuff because everybody at that factory and everybody on Synthopia, you know what Synthopia is, right?
Yeah, I do, yes.
They all started bitching at me because I started talking about stuff, and they're like, oh, I got a MAGA person on here, and they started dogging on it. I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm a veteran too, by the way.
Yep.
Like, there's nothing wrong with being MAGA. And I'm telling you, you know, being a son of somebody, like I said, that worked at General Motors and, you know, coming from Michigan, and I'm 53 years old. So it's like I saw the fall of all that stuff. I've seen the fall of this city, San Francisco. And there's nothing wrong with stuff being made here. It should be made here. But when they all started complaining because they said that these are the people at Mugen and Syntopia, that the prices were going to go up. I'm giving you a lot of info here.
Yeah, yeah.
But the prices were going to go up because of the tariffs and stuff. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Stop putting that little American flag on your products and saying that your products, this is Moog, are made in the United States, because they're not. All the printed circuit boards and stuff come from overseas. You're just putting the stuff together here.
I mean, they held on to that for as long as they could, and eventually they couldn't.
Yeah, then
really,
look what happened.
You know, that's what happened, right? And
now they're a part of the whole Akai, you know, network and stuff, which is cool.
Yeah, no
you know,
problem,
I used
no
to
big
do a lot
deal.
of work for Ableton and stuff. I don't mind these other companies, and I don't mind when they're made, you know, in the Far East and stuff like that. But at some point, we've got to make stuff here. It'll be a little bit more expensive, but I don't mind that stuff.
Well,
I just want to play some good instruments.
I'll tell you what, as far as stuff getting made back here, this is kind of like off topic a little bit, but just to wrap it, put a button on it.
Yeah.
As far as stuff getting made back here, there's a couple little pieces that need to fall in place, and without, you know, you'll know what I'm talking about. A lot of people know what I'm talking about. I don't need to exactly say it, but there's a lot of buildings that use the word federal in them that need to be kind of removed, and there needs to be things restored, and the prices of things will then find a level, because everyone just assumes that if you bring things back here to manufacture, that prices are going to be astronomical, and that is the
only
case
for a small period of time.
If you're playing with the same rules, they will, but those rules are going to change.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep, 10 years from now, you know, when we have everything, you know, like, you know, Levi's. You know, I live in San Francisco. Levi's, and I wear Levi's. They're not made here.
No.
You know, they're not made here. And all the rich people that live in this city let this city fall on purpose, just like Flint and Detroit, because they wanted to destroy it for the little Soros 15-minute cities.
Yes,
you know,
indeed.
I hope you still have a YouTube channel after you get off the phone with me.
Hey, but, I was gonna make a video a while ago. It was gonna be like, but it was too hot for TV. I mean, I'll tell you about it some other time. But I was gonna do a video a while ago, and someone was like, "Man, don't be at that. That's too crazy." And I was like, "But I kind of feel like it's a topic that needs to be discussed." But anyways, I'll just say the topic, dude. The topic was like, are conservatives allowed to be synthesizer players? You know, are conservatives allowed?
Well, you know, I don't even call it conservative, though.
No, I know. Yeah.
I was a Democrat for 27 years. I call it common sense.
Yeah. Well, the thing is,
because that's what we're the party of now. We're the party of common sense.
The thing is like sometimes I'm even playing on a higher plane than that. I'm just like, man, there's a lot of crap going on here. That's hold on, I got something coming. It's there's a lot of stuff going on, dude. It's crazy.
There's a lot of stuff going on in the world, and that's why I tell you I have a team. They already talked to you. You know, the codes are everywhere.
Yeah.
But soon enough you'll find out who I am. And until then, keep synthing. Keep that. With you and that Akai, it makes me still one of these days want to get the Akai.
I'm gonna hold on to it for you now, because I got to learn it just for you.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, brother.
All right, my man. Hey, God bless you. Thank you.
God bless you too, my man.
So you're from the Trailer Park Boys area, right?
I'm from one island over.
Okay, awesome.
Newfoundland, baby.
Yep. All right.
All right, man. You take it easy.
God bless you,
Call
my
in
man.
anytime. God bless you too.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay, bye. All right, man. That was a call from. Oh, we got another call coming in. The lines are hot. Hold up.
From
John Costello.
All right, we got another call coming in from John Costello. What's happening? You are live?
This is Slappy.
No Slappy. No Slappy. We're talking to John tonight. What's up?
I'm joking with you.
What's up, brother?
What do you want to know?
Well, listen, this is the topic of the show was kind of, was Espen Kraft right? I just went through a gambit of stuff. He did the cryptic Fox and the Hound story. Probably I would like to know what your theory is on the Fox and the Hound and why he chose to read that story.
Geez.
What do you got there? Or whatever, man. Talk about whatever. Your call.
It's kind of like the Fox and the Hound. Basically, what it's talking about, because I'm a children's book author.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Is the fact that it's kind of like you are put into certain categories, okay, as a young person, right? And you grow up, right? And there's two camps of believing one thing and believing another. And so the fox and the hound were stuck in these labels. They were labeled, you know, and it was kind of like, yeah, the fox has to be chased by the hound, you know, but they were friends in the beginning, you know, and I think a lot of it is like people liked Espen in the beginning until he said this.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then everybody wanted to fucking go after him. Everybody wanted to be the hound going after the fox.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's what it was.
Yeah, little game of hide and seek, a little game of chase. You know, that's kind of,
you know,
I think it's a multi-layered thing. The story's got we could talk about it all night. Hide and seek, chase. The fox is wild. The hound has a master, you know, and is domesticated. And, you know, the master tells the hound to go after the fox. And he's like, that's my buddy. And it's like, yeah, but, you know, he's a fox.
I don't think he did it to, you know, as a springboard for his new channel, though. He didn't do that. He did it because, you know, he and I talk on Facebook. He's a Facebook friend of mine, and we talk on Messenger. And you know, I in the beginning when I was synth punk, you know, I used to get him going a lot. And I remember when I first got acquainted with Espen, I said, you gotta relax, man. You're like Arnold Schwarzenegger, dude. He's like, I am not going to relax for anyone.
Yeah, I wish I could read the quote he put in one of the comments. He was like, because obviously I was joking around going after him too. I was going after all the boys, telling them to be quiet or whatever. But the quote he put in there was, I will not retreat. I will not back down. I will never give in. I will never something. And I when I read that, I was like, respect, my brother. Total respect. I love that. I love when you're just like, man, this is me. This is what I'm doing. If you don't like it, too bad. I'm not going to just toe everybody having the same opinion and the weirdest thing about stuff sometimes is everybody in these weird groups think that you have to have the same thoughts, opinions, and as soon as someone deviates a little bit, it's like, he's the other, you know? It's like, what the heck, dude? This is crazy. But it's the way it is.
Deviation. I'm the king of deviation.
You got a deviated septum?
Deviated septum, sure.
Sounds like
But listen. Here's the thing. Espen Kraft and I are like we're pretty much around the same age. We grew up in the same time. Okay, and I totally got him from the very beginning. Okay, and you know what I did tonight before I called you.
Espen was a Viking. People forget that.
Before I called you, I wanted to check something. I did the inflation calculator, okay?
Yeah.
So in 1983, I bought a brand new Korg Poly 61, okay? It was $799 in 1983.
Yeah.
Now, with the inflation calculator today, that is about $2,500 for a 6-voice analog, okay? But you know, here's the thing. Like I said before, like I came to the realization that, you know, Sequential remaking their old synths, Behringer recreating old synths, it's all redundant. It's unnecessary, okay? A company like Arturia, what they did, Arturia did something completely original, okay, with the Polybrute, with the Matrix Brute. They did something completely original, and they did it well, you know. And their prices, when their prices came in, they were affordable. You know, a Matrix Brute was $2,000. Okay. Now, when you think of, like, you know, if people missed out on the Voyagers when the Voyagers came out, and you're going on Reverb to look for a Voyager. So I had a Voyager in my studio for about a month, and it was my friend Carl's. And honestly, the Matrix Brute, you could get a Matrix Brute brand new for $2,000, right? Now the Voyagers were selling for probably like $4,000 and up. You know, and that's just crazy money.
Yeah.
It's just crazy money. I mean, and they weren't even really, you couldn't even really consider a Voyager being vintage. It's just that they'd stopped making them. So then the prices go sky high, you know? But the prices of synths, now in all fairness though, here's the thing. In all fairness, the OBX8, the Prophet 10, the Prophet 5, you know, those prices are really high, okay? But the one thing that I do agree with Inhalt, what's his name?
Mattia.
The one thing I do agree with Mattia is the fact that there is a lot of money that goes into R&D. There's a lot of money. You have to pay people, you know, and you have to pay for shipping. And at the end of the day, it's like, how many Prophet 10s were sold? Okay. You know,
let me ask you a question. How much did Sequential sell for?
What do you mean?
How much did Focusrite buy Sequential for?
I have no idea.
Someone in the chat, can someone find out how much Focusrite bought Sequential for? That's what we need that answer to add context to this conversation.
Now, I can tell you this. I know for a fact that when Dave Smith was alive, he was living in a $6 million house.
Yeah, but I thought a few guys that I will not mention said that synthesizer companies don't make any money.
Synthesizer companies don't make money?
That's what a bunch of people were saying. They're like, everyone thinks that synthesizer company makes money. They don't. They don't make any money. And I'm like, oh my God, here they go again.
How can they not make money?
Well, that's why I want to know how much Sequential sold for. Now, don't get me wrong. Some companies don't make money. Some companies go out of business. Blah 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 blah. But anyways, listen,
they go out of business. Yeah.
Espen Kraft. I want to know what was the point of him posting that video with the fox and the hound on his new channel as his first video?
I think
it wasn't by accident.
You think that there was something else underneath it?
I think it was a message. Yeah, I do. Yeah. I don't know the message. I kind of had my own interpretation, but I kind of got to go back and look at it all again. I think there's yeah, man, he's a synth jujitsu master. He's a master of the linguistic arts. You know, he knows exactly.
I can message Espen and ask him.
Yeah, and he might be like, no reason. That's just a book that was under my table here that I was reading to my kids last night.
You know,
whatever.
He's very. You know, he and I read the old keyboard magazines. He likes all the retro stuff like I do. We grew up in that time period, man. Pinball machines, Atari, all that shit.
Yeah.
That's the time we grew up in. You know, I'm sure that Espen's probably 57, 58, 59 maybe.
Who knows?
You know?
He had a martial arts shirt on the other night, which I thought was cool. All right, man, let's get another call going. So are you Team Espen or are you not?
I'm freaking Team Espen.
All right, baby.
Way.
Team Espen. We got another team. That's two Team Espens. And are you a Behringer bro or not?
Behringer does not. Okay, listen. Behringer does not make bad synths.
Yeah.
But like I said, if you have a monopoly, you don't need to buy the other synths.
Yeah. All right. You're a Behringer cousin. You're a Behringer cousin.
Behringer cousin.
All right. Behringer cousin. All right, baby.
Twice removed.
All right. That's the one and only John Costello. He's got some great songs up on his channel now. Go check it out. We got the phone lines open again, 413-279-4344. Again, we're talking about Espen Kraft. It deviates sometimes. Our synth scams. Is there a hidden message in his new Fox and the Hound video? Was my interpretation right or was it wrong? I don't know. I don't even know what I was talking about, to be honest with you. All right.
Call from
Saucy.
All right, saucy. Is it salty or saucy? Who's on? What's on?
Saucy.
Saucy. What's up, baby? What's happening?
What's going on, brother from another mother?
Hello.
Enjoying your show.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I've got some gas.
Let's talk.
Man, I saw your.
Let's talk.
I saw your little post this morning about the Cream Dream. But listen, man. That news, I've seen it in more hands, and that sound is just so rich. You know, the sequencer in particular, and I already have a Matrix Brute, so you know it's very similar to. I mean, of course, it's a mono synth, and yada yada. But all the same filters are there, Steiner Parker filters, the the brute factor, all that kind of stuff. It just doesn't have like that expression, like the. Oh, by the way, they do have the Cream Dream at Guitar Center down the street from me, and I've played it for about 20 minutes, and you won't be disappointed if that's what you pick. But I got three new little hotties coming in.
Ooh, tell me more.
So the first one is the Ambient Zero, which I ordered weeks ago, and it's just a batch.
Dude, it'll be worth the wait. It'll be worth the wait. I'm telling you right now.
And then I got, listen, this is, well, I'll go ahead and say it, but
let's hear it.
The Muse is coming in December.
Dude, the Muse, you're on Team Muse Mongols. Nice. Oh.
But listen, the Z sounds.
Yeah.
No credit check. You can pay in 4, pay in 6, pay in 8, pay in 12. Like no ding to your credit, no ding to your cash flow. You know what I mean?
I hear you, baby. So you got the Moog Muse coming?
Moog Muse coming, and I got one more that's a little secret weapon.
Oh, let's hear it.
So you've heard about Modal perhaps going out of business earlier in the year. You also heard about their savior from the manufacturer.
Yes, indeed.
Saving that company. So the Modal Carbon 8.
Ooh.
Carbon 8. You have to look this one up. There's only one. There's 2 videos that are not like NAMM or anything like that. So there's only 2 videos that are within, say, the past week. Yeah.
So wait a minute. So you were talking about we had the Cobalt. What were they? The Cobalt.
The Cobalt. The Carbon 8.
Yeah. But what were their synths? What were the synths?
This came out like officially October 1st is when it's supposed to be released.
Oh.
It's also on Z Sounds or whatever, and it's $1,000, $1,100. I'm just paying it in maybe three payments.
Oh, baby, your spaceship's about to get an upgrade.
Oh, I'm working on the spaceship, baby.
Oh, dude, send me a picture and email when you get them.
I will. But listen, you do need to check out. I'm serious, man. Look it up. You don't have to look it up on the show here, but the Carbon 8, you have to look this thing up. It sounds sweet.
I might do oscillators and percolators tomorrow morning if I got time. Maybe I'll cover the Carbon 8 on there. I can check out some videos on it on there.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
that'd be cool.
No one's covering it. It's fresh off the press.
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, so what I can do maybe tomorrow is I'll do a little Carbon 8. I'll do a little Modal review, show the clip for where they talk about they got bought out by their manufacturer, saved their life, and now we got to go into the Carbon 8 videos. That's sweet, dude.
Yeah,
man, I'm pumped for you, man. Congratulations. I need to get what Noir got. I need to get one of those cheer buttons from when someone gasses up and buys a synth.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, awesome.
All right, my man.
Listen, bro, thank you for calling, man. Absolute pleasure having you call, dude. Call anytime.
Likewise.
All right, baby.
Brother.
All right, phone lines are back open. We still got time for a couple more calls for sure. 413-279-4344. That's 3 great calls so far. We got some gas attack. You know what, man? We can talk about anything. You don't have to talk about the topic. This is like open lawn, man. You call in and talk about whatever you want. 413-279-4344. You need relationship advice? Call the Samurai. You need synthesizer advice? I don't know if you should call me, but if you need advice about gas, call me and I'll tell you to buy it. And what else? I can give advice about anything. Come on. What do you need advice about? All right.
From
Uncle Jerry.
That's 3 great calls. 344. You need
all right, Uncle Jerry, turn down your radio, baby. What's happening?
You need synthesizer advice?
Uncle Jerry, you're live, man. Turn down your radio, baby.
Oh, I couldn't hear you, man.
Yeah, what's
up?
How you doing? Good, man. Well, geez, are you alive over there? We got Uncle Jerry from North Carolina. Give us a weather update, man. A storm update. What's happening?
Oh my God. Well, you guys know. At least you know. No internet, no text, text would come in. I couldn't text back. Sometimes they'd come through. No emails, no nothing, man.
Damn.
Cell service was crap. And fortunately, I mean, Hickory, where I live, got hit. I mean, there's trees everywhere. I almost couldn't get out of my development. And then once I did, no matter which way you go, and there's quite a few one-way roads, and then you go here and you go there, and then you're like, I don't know where to go.
Wow. So it's like Armageddon?
You know, yeah. What's that?
Was it like Armageddon? Did you feel for a minute like, oh, damn, this is it?
You know what I'm going to say? Like a mild taste of it. You know what I mean?
So do you feel like you need to be a little more prepared now? Or are you thinking, ooh, man, I maybe need to be a little bit more prepared for if this happens again?
Oh, listen, dude, I'm a prepper. I have a little solar generator. I got food stocked on the shelf. I've got cases of water.
I love it.
I've got CB radio. I've got weather radio that's solar powered, hand crank, rechargeable battery.
Uncle Jerry, don't tease me. Listen, let me ask you a question. Do you have the ability to power your spaceship during another hurricane? That's the question.
Yet.
That's the question.
Not yet, but talking to my friend at work today, we got to talking because I had to stop by Home Depot because they're finishing up my kitchen. I had to fix something up for them, and all I saw was people buying gas cans and generators.
Damn. It don't hurt. It don't hurt to be prepared, though, does it, baby? For everyone out there, man, listen. It ain't no joke. Get ready. What do we always say? Stay ready to be ready.
Exactly. That's why. And my family laughed at me. I said, "Look, the way times are today, you don't want to be the person standing in line when a grocery store is empty and all the other stores are empty, and you got nothing to eat, nothing to drink." You know? I
hear you, dude. I think to me, stay ready to be ready. Just let me address something in the comments there. Noir said that he's a bit upset that I picked the Juno Ditty over the Waldorf Quantum. Man, the Juno Ditty fell in my lap for a cool 1K. I had to do it. You know, the Waldorf Quantum was just a little bit too much. But I will tell you one thing. I will get that Quantum. Jerry, do you got the Quantum?
No. As you know, I've always had my eye on that thing. Since... Gearfest in 2018, I laid my hands on one. Wow.
Sweet. Yeah, sounds good. That gave you the chilly willies?
Oh my God, chills up my spine. I realized I got to stop watching you when I'm talking because I'm seeing you do this, and I'm like, hey, man, like you said about that guy with the crooked eyes. Hey, man, you looking at me? You hearing me?
Yeah, you looking at me, dude? Listen, it's this old school style. You know this like coast to coast, man. This is a radio show, so you got to turn it down and look away because we're on a time delay.
Yeah, I realize that. So I now look away so I can focus on what I'm saying because I feel like I'm talking to you, and I'm like, you ever see remember them old movies where they translated Japanese into English, and the mouse would move.
The old kung fu movies.
Yeah.
So listen, let me ask you this: Do you think that Espen was right? Do you think synths are scams? Do you think he was half right? Do you think he was fully right? Did you like the reaction?
I'm going to go.
Yeah. What do you think?
I'm on the fence. I'm going to go half right. I'm going to go half right at this point. I'm more leaning towards he was right.
Yeah.
But you know what? These are really crazy times in the synth world as well as the world, as we all know. But, you know, software is growing in such magnitude that eventually I think everything's going to be a controller of some sort. And when I say controller, the way music's going with ambient and these touch pads and MIDI controller, you won't need to take piano lessons anymore. You'll just create this ambient music, you know, with whatever controller you want. And the synths, the VST synths will be providing whatever you want from anywhere in the world. It'll be up in that cloud and you can suck it down, whether you pay for it and it's free. That's my vision of what's going on.
I mean,
I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm a hardware guy, man. Mainly, I'm definitely hardware because I'm old school.
But I like this blending of worlds. I like still that there's still analog synthesizers. I like that they're doing stuff with hybrids. I love that they're doing stuff like this Roland Juno X. I mean, it was never on my radar. When I put my hands on it, I was like, wow, this is impressive. And like Espen says, it's a VST in a box, but I don't even understand why VST in a box gets a bad name, really, because I don't need to have this plugged into anything. I mean, it sounds awesome. Okay, it's not analog, but dude, I'll tell you what, man, the sounds that come out of this and the fact, like you just said, I can be like, well, bam, put that USB stick in the back, well, boom, load up the Jupiter 8-pack, and well, bam, I got it right on this thing. It's crazy.
Yeah, just like you demoed that. I forget what the name of it was, but you can link it up in the cloud with all these. That to me was like,
yeah, the
Wolfie,
the Kiviak Wolfie dude. That thing's totally crazy too.
They're pioneers. They're leading the way into the way it's going to be.
Let me tell you what's cool about the. Just let me tell you this for a second. What's cool about the Kiviak Wolfie is, and that cloud system that they got. If you've got a Wolfie, if I got a Wolfie, Noir, Machines One, Espen, if everybody of us has got a Wolfie, we can put our patches into that cloud, and that Wolfie's directly connected to the cloud, and you can dial into the patch, and I can play your patches for free. Like, I can just be like, oh, I'm going to play Uncle Jerry's patches. That's crazy.
Exactly. And right now, like Richie Boy, he'll send me OBXA patches and stuff, and they're in an email, and I have to decompress them, and then go transfer them here, and then go over here, and then load them in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's all computer shit in between. It's a lot of computer shit.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to sit down and play, man.
I hear you, dude. Hold on a second, man. Is someone saying there's some knobhead in the chat? Hold on, man. I usually don't moderate things, but you know what I'm gonna do? Hold on here. I am going to, let me just see something. All right, Hans Volt is now. Can review, remove, hide, put users in time. All right, Hans Volt, for tonight, my brother, you are now the moderator. You can moderate this chat with an iron fist, my brother. Hans Volt is now a moderator. All right, so don't be messing with the vintage vagabond, baby. He's here tonight. All right, Uncle Jerry. Anything else before we take another call?
No, I won't tie up the time. Your time. I'm gonna let other people call in, but man. Just wanted to tell you thanks. This is great. Oh, by the way.
Yes, sir.
Throw this out to all your users.
Yep.
I don't have time. Before you started your channel, we were in a chat room, and I said, we need to have a Synth Samurai tailgate party live on YouTube.
I'm into it. Man. We should do I was talking about this last week. I don't know if you were in the chat. You might have been caught in that hurricane, but I was like, we need to have a tailgate party for real.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If anyone has the resources and time, man, let's give it for Samurai, and let's tailgate before the show.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Oh, I'm into that. Yeah, a little tailgate party. I could even start the show and play some music, and then finish my dinner and then pop back up. So you got some music to hang out to in the chat. How about that?
There you go, my brother.
All right, baby. Hey, you the man. Love you, brother.
Okay, love you too. Thanks.
All right, man. Take it easy. All right, Hans. You know the deal, my brother. With great power comes great responsibility. I only want douchebags. You know, if everybody's kind of going back and forth, teasing, having a good time, man, who cares about that? But anybody who's being a complete douchey poochy, Hans, you know what to do with them, bro. Take them to the woodshed. All right, I probably got a time for another one or two more calls. Listen, the last man you want to go against as a moderator is Hans Bolt, all right? Hans Bolt, okay? With a name like that, you don't screw around. All right, and what did they call us? A bunch of weirdos? Man, we're all weirdos. What do you want to be, normal? Normal's the new weird. How about that? Normal is the new weird. All right, Hans, you're only moderator for tonight, baby. And you know, maybe we'll make a different moderator every night. But maybe Hans, dude, maybe you might be the guy, man, because you got the muscles. All right, let's go. We got phone lines open for another couple calls. 413-279-4344. And again, I got to apologize to Noir, my baby. I'm sorry for not getting that Waldorf Quantum, but let me promise it to you now. I will be getting the Waldorf Quantum. I will be getting the Cream Dream. I will be getting, I don't know, I'm off the Moog Muse. I'm off the Moog Muse. All right, who do we got coming in?
From
Chansey.
All right, we got a call from Chansey, baby. You know the deal. If you got your TV on or your whatever you're listening on, turn that down, look away, and what's on your mind?
I got you, man. You know, I've been doing audio for a while, so I know to turn down my speakers.
Sweet. What's up, my brother?
Hey, it's good to talk to you, man. We've talked a couple times before, man. You called me a true samurai, which was awesome because it's good to be a part of the Mojo Dojo.
Yes, indeed, baby. The hottest gang in town.
Yeah, for sure, man. So I'm a cat I got about 13 synths. I got an original MS-20, first one, SH-101, got a Roland JD-800, Got some Sonics. I love Sonic, American made. We could bring that back to the States, Canada. That'd be awesome.
I'd love to see Ensonic come back.
Oh, Sonic, they were the coolest, man. They really knew how to develop stuff, and people figured out a lot about how to make synthesizers from Sonic, with like the soft touch buttons around the big screen.
Oh yeah,
and being able to get through menus quick. But anyway, to stick to your point about Espen Kraft's video, you know, I fully agree with his viewpoint in that, hey man, you might just be getting tricked out of some bread here, because it's honestly just a little Raspberry Pi computer and some software running on it. Now, it is, as a guy who loves the tactile situation, I mean, with 13 cents, I really love, you know,
me too,
pushing some faders, turning some knobs, hitting some buttons.
Yeah.
But at the same time, man, if I can just get one super cool MIDI controller and do in the box, you know, VSTIs, which I don't like them at all. You know, it's really awesome that I can have a Jupiter 8, you know, one of the synths I've always wanted. But the true hero, I think, in this story is Uli Behringer.
I kind of agree, dude. I kind of agree.
He's allowed us, man, us po folk,
yep,
to lay our hands on stuff like, I see that monopoly you got back there. That monopoly is ridiculous,
dude. Isn't it amazing?
It's insane. And you know, no matter how much you study it, you'll still never understand it.
Yeah.
And so, and anytime I have a friend come over who doesn't know synths, and I'll let them loose on one of my synthesizers, invariably they will come up with sounds I could never have come up with.
And the monopoly is such a inspirational synthesizer, just as I guess the Korg was. But man, I think they did a great job on the monopoly. I kind of think it might be one of their best synthesizers, to be honest.
Oh, honestly, yeah, absolutely. And I've got the Blue Marvin, the ARP 2600 copy. And I got both of those cats when I was in Europe during COVID. And I'm like, fuck it, might as well get some fun, you know, new toys.
Yep.
And I got both those guys. And man, I ended up creating like samples. Like I would just mix those two synths together and be like, oh, all right, first of all, unless I take a I'm sorry for the bad language.
It's all good, baby. This is late night TV. Don't worry about it.
All right, cool. So if I take a photograph of it, that I can maybe get back to this sound. But then I started getting into sampling my synthesizers, and there are a couple of programs out there that allow you to, like, it'll automatically play all of your keys at different velocities and sample the whole keyboard.
Oh, sweet.
And then you can create a contact player, your own instrument out of that.
Dude, what do you what do you use for effects on your burp and your monopoly? Do you run them through plugins or you use pedals?
So honestly, I record everything, all my synths dry.
Ooh, yeah, you do the dry?
I do with the synths because I want to capture them as they are, and then I'll put effects on them later. And I'm working a hybrid studio, so I got a Soundcraft 600 32-channel board from the 80s,
nice,
and a bunch of outboard gear. And so I love that analog aspect because I grew up with that. I'm an old timer, but I'm not someone who, you know, I'm not a Luddite. I don't embrace only the old school stuff. I love what digital does, and in my arena, you know, I'll do my fine edits and effects in Cakewalk. I used to use Pro Tools, and I've used a bunch of them, Cubase, all of them, but I love Cakewalk, Sonar.
Yeah.
And I'll do my fine edits there. Then I bring them out on my analog desk. I throw them through my outboard gear. I do the analog summing thing. So I'm that kind of cat. But, you know, it doesn't matter to me. So many people are all uppity about Uli Behringer copying synths like it means anything to them, right?
I mean,
like,
isn't that the oldest game in town? Like, knock it off already, you know?
Seriously, who hasn't copied off anyone else to make something new? Like, we all copy off of somebody who came before. We stand on the shoulders of giants.
And it's fine not to like it. Okay, here's the deal, the way I look at it. If you're just like, man, I don't like Behringer, like Hans Volt's like, I just don't like it. Right? Hans Volt's like, I don't like Behringers. But he's not like he doesn't like all Behringers. He just doesn't like Behringers. It's not like he hates Uli. I don't think. Maybe Hans Volt, correct me if I'm wrong, but I could be wrong. You know, you never know. But I think, you know what I really think, brother? I think that history is going to look back very fondly on Uli and Behringer as a company and Music Tribe in general. I think in history we'll look back and they'll be like, wow, because I was thinking about it the other day, and Behringer is one of the reasons that allowed me to get more inspiration to start getting synthesizers from other companies, because it was like, nice. Oh, I can get a few and I can try some sounds. And then it's almost like the entry drug to synthesizers for a lot of people, man, because a lot of people don't understand. I talk about this a lot on my show, and people are like poo-pooing it, man. And listen, a lot of people work their ass off and they don't have a lot of time and they don't have a lot of money to put towards expensive hobbies like this. But and I don't think a lot of people understand how hard you got to work for goddamn cash, man. You got to bust your balls. And when you got a family, when you got kids, when you got all the other baloney going on in this world, and you want to take a little bit out, sometimes it's nice to be like, you know what? I got $600. I'd like to have a few synthesizers now to mess, you know, because guess what? Sometimes you want 3.
I honestly do not understand people who hate on Behringer for doing clones. And I imagine to myself, wow, you must be so friggin' loaded with cash that you're pissed off. Now, let me tell you, my original MS-20, I got it, believe it or not, I got it for $50 because the guy, I worked at Guitar Center in the late 90s, and this guy wanted to sell all of his old gear to buy a new synth. And I'm like, oh, what do you got? And you're like, I got this, MS-20, and I knew what it was. And he was like, I said, how much you want for that MS-20? That's a cool noisemaker.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know, $50. Oh. And it came with the original manual, which is worth $100 at least, like the original manual, perfect condition. So, you know, I all he could hear, the last thing he heard from that MS-20 was my car peeling out of the parking lot.
Yeah, thanks, dude. Yeah.
Later, it's too late, bro.
Yeah, you ain't getting it back.
But so my point is that when Korg came out with the MS-20 Mini, and then also they came out with a DIY kit for the MS-20, the value of my original MS-20 went down a couple $100.
Yeah.
And now what's beautiful is Behringer just came out with a new version of the MS-20, and it actually has 2 mods on it that the original didn't have. One is syncing the oscillators, hard sync between the 2 oscillators, and the other one is voltage control of the pulse width modulation. And I actually, because I do electronics, I did those 2 mods myself to the original MS-20. And people are like, oh, that's sacrilege. But I'm like, what? Why is it sacrilege? Because I'm never going to sell it. Unless you are like a family member of mine, like downstream, you're never going to get your hands on it. So,
you know what I termed that the other day? I termed that generational synth wealth, baby. That's what that is.
Yeah. You know, since no one can buy a goddamn house under Bidenomics, you might as well have.
At least we'll have some generational synth wealth. That's why I tell a lot of cats, man, you can't get poisoned by the synth guilt and give all this away. Because guess what? If your children or grandchildren or cousins or brother ever wants to get in the game, they ain't gonna be able to afford it later.
No.
Right.
Well, let me tell you, man. When I was, up till I was about 8 years old, my parents had a lot of money. Yeah. And then all of a sudden they didn't have shit for money.
Yeah.
And I grew up throughout my, from 8, 9, 10 years old, totally like poor, like butter on bread was like for a week. That's all we ate. And I decided, all right,
we used to eat molasses on bread.
Well, you're Canadian.
Yeah, that's true.
So anyway, I worked all summer in a sandwich shop when I was like 15 to buy my first synth, which was a Poly 800, Korg Poly 800. I still have it, but and it was $325, which is $750 in today's money.
Whoa.
So for a 15-year-old to do that, it's like, all right, you're dedicated. And I made myself a promise, 2 promises. Whenever I had a little bit of cash in my pocket, I'd buy something, whether it's a guitar tuner or an effects pedal or maybe a big synthesizer or my big mixing desk. And the other promise I made was I would never, ever sell anything.
Bro, I've been trying to make
And
that
so
promise to myself too. I like that.
And so now, I mean, you know, I'm 52, but I actually have a you know, full-blown studio. I have drums and electronic drums and 13 synths and a 32-channel 80s desk and a bunch of outboard gear and Latin percussion and stuff. And when I was a kid, I used to look at people who had big studios and think, oh, they must be from a money family. And then later you realize, no, they were just those cats who saved up.
Yep.
They were so passionate about it that they kept their gear. You know, all right, trading something or selling it because you don't like it, you never use it. I totally dig that.
Yeah.
But if you keep that kind of vibe of, I'll always buy a little something when I got a couple bucks in the pocket, and I'll never get rid of anything unless I really, really want to get rid of it. And that's how, in my advanced years, I now have a full-blown studio.
That's how you build generational synth wealth, baby.
There it is, man. Yeah. Well, look, I won't keep you, bro. I know you got other callers who want to talk to you.
You start a show called Synth Ramsey, and you just talk about generational synth wealth.
I love it, man.
All right, baby.
This old synth.
Yeah, this old synth. Yeah. What is it? The Behringer is the new status symbol.
Right? No, but I mean, I you know, Behringer allows us cats without a lot of money to have things that we could never dream of having, and hopefully they come out with that VCS3, that EMI.
That's the one I want too, just because it looks so freaking cool. Because you know I'm all about the
looks.
And
if you check out, there's only like one video I found where they actually play that unit as a synth, like you know, as a synth, as opposed to just hitting the button and it makes weird sounds.
Yeah.
I know this cat named James Sanger. He's a producer from England. He lives over like Normandy Beach, France. Yeah. He has a medieval castle there that he's turned into a recording studio.
Oh,
his website is vibestudios.com.
Vibey Studios? I'll check that out. Yeah.
Check it out. And I actually built his website for him.
Sweet.
I build websites, so I always do trades with people. And so he's got 2 VCS3s, man, originals.
Oh, wow.
And he's got one of the most unbelievable synth collections you've ever heard of. You ought to connect with him, James Sanger, vibestudios.com. And I'll talk to him, and I'll let him know that you might be in touch, because I think you'd be amazed at his synth collection. He's got like 30 priceless synths, man.
Oh, bro,
like
listen, fire me an email when we disconnect and throw that in
Where
there.
do I find your email, bro?
It's usually in the description, but it's easy. It's synthsamuraiproductions@gmail.com.
Check that out. I'm going to let you go, bro. It was a real pleasure talking to you.
You too, my brother, man. You take it easy. God bless you.
God bless you. Cheers.
All right, I got one more call coming in, and then we'll shut her down for tonight, man. What a wonderful group of callers we got going on here tonight. Absolutely humbled by the knowledge, the experience, and the good vibes, man. Love it. So one more call, 413-279-4344. What's going on, Hans? What's going on in the chat? Shall we check the chat here? Everything going good? Hans got everything under control in there now. We got all the cracker eaters out of there. The little dirt merchants have left the scene. All right, last call.
Call from
Espen Kraft.
Oh, look who it is. What's up, beautiful?
Yo, what's up, pumpkin boy?
Oh, there he is. There he is. What do you want, the peanut butter and cream?
Dude, I don't want no peanut butter sandwich. You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying. What's up?
I am not. You know, now that you keep pushing the cream dream on me, I kind of look at that thing and I go, that looks like a peanut butter sandwich, man. It's got like the bread and the brown. It's got the peanut butter on it.
Oh, when you said that, I was like, I'm never going to not see the freaking peanut butter sandwich again. So to just tell everybody, Echo is now termed the Polybrew 12, the cream dream, the peanut butter sandwich, which is like
totally, man. It's you know, you complain about the Rev 2, you know, being a goth girl with, you know, bad fingernail polish, basically.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the PB12 because that's what peanut butter sandwich, bro. That's
and you know what? It kind of works. Maybe I'll have to switch out the T-shirt for the cupcake and throw a peanut butter sandwich on the back.
Oh my God, I'd buy one of those.
Or I'll make one for you. I'll make you a Polybrew 12 shirt, peanut butter sandwich with our Synth Renegade and peanut butter sandwich on the back.
Yeah, because you got to instead of the frosting, you got to put in New England, we have a thing called fluffernutters.
Oh, that stuff's nasty, dude.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Dude.
That's fluffernutter sandwich, man.
Oh.
You got peanut butter and marshmallow that you put on 2 pieces of bread. I'm telling you,
bro.
that's good
Listen,
stuff.
I'll tell you what to do, man. Go to one of your stores that are near you and get some pure molasses, the real thick black tar. It's called black. What's it called? Black tap molasses or something? Blackstrap molasses. Get some
Blackstrap.
Yeah, get some pure blackstrap organic molasses and go home. Get 2 pieces of organic, freshly baked sourdough bread. Whack a whole load of molasses on that thing and eat it before you go to work. You think Red Bull gives you wings, my baby? I'll tell you something right now. You want to fly? You eat a blackstrap sourdough molasses sandwich, man. That's what we used to eat. So what's on your mind tonight?
And should I put a pair of diapers on after I eat that, or what?
You're probably wearing one already.
Oh, there's an old man joke right there.
What's up?
No, I don't have my Depends on yet, man.
Dude, I heard there's a group of people in Europe who are selling diapers so they don't have to leave their studio when they're making music, and I was like, man, that's crazy weird.
That's just gross, dude.
Yeah.
That's like, come on.
I think they got I think they got a podcast, but only anyone watches it.
There's like video gamers that do crap like that, don't they? They like get food sent into them, and they just kind of like poop bags and stuff like that. It's just wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, listen.
Well,
So listen, Espen, what do you got? You got anything for me tonight? What do you got? You got your Juno X on order?
Not yet. I'm almost there.
You're close. You sold another synth.
I sold the TR9, and I got some cash. I sent that out today, and the cash got put into the Juno fund. So now I got to send. I'm selling the JU06 right now with the keyboard for $300. That's a steal.
That's a steal. So give us an estimate on a timeline. Do you think you got a timeline? We looking at weeks? We looking at months? We looking at years?
I'm hoping that thing sells soon because the TR9 sold quick.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that probably another week maybe.
Mm-hmm.
That should be gone.
Okay.
But once the JU's gone, then I'm gonna go for the Juno.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking probably 2 weeks.
Man, we should have a dueling Junos night.
The Juno X series.
You get your Juno, I'll get my Juno. We'll go face to face. All right. You put whatever you want on it. No VSTs though, baby. You got to use guitar pedals, and we'll just do a crazy dueling Juno.
Well, I got plenty of those, man.
Yeah.
I hook it up to. Well, the effects on it are awesome anyway.
Oh yeah, that's true. You don't even need pedals, but I'll tell you what though, bro. Some of these pedals that I got, dude, I don't even think they were made on Earth.
I know, they're amazing. I just want to say one thing too, because I know you want to get going, man.
What's up?
I think beating the Epson
it's over.
Espen thing is a dead horse. But I mean,
what are you trying to say? I shouldn't even done this show tonight. Is that what you're trying to say?
No. I'm just what I want to say was, a lot of what he said, I've said.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we watched the Matea, I don't know, how do you say the guy's name, bro?
I think we'll say Matea Simovic.
Okay, Mr. Simovic, right?
Yeah.
I think he was all butthurt and bent out of angle iron. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just, I looked at that, and I actually watched the Espen Kraft again.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, he's not too far wrong when it comes to how much money things cost. Because I mean, dude, I did a whole show on that. And I showed all the expensive synths, and I just saw it just today alone. I got a thing from the Gear Exchange, and they're selling that what's that thing called, the Colossus?
Oh, the Colossus, $63,000. That one?
Yeah, so it was a used one for $23,000.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about depreciation, but
I know, that's great. Imagine buying it for 60, and it's bad enough buying a Korg friggin' Op 6 for 600, and now you can get it for 350. Imagine buying something for 60, and it's like, nah, you're only getting 23 for that.
Yeah, and I just sat there and I was like, it really is it. Yeah, it's all hand built, hand wired. A lot of R&D went into it. Great, and I still stick by that. I totally believe, yes, that's very nice. And that's why these things are made, and that's why we spend money buying them. But I just don't understand why the price tag stays that high all the time. And I even with the Moog stuff.
I think I cracked the code, and it's a little bit of a synthspiracy. I think that a lot of these synthesizers are being used as art pieces, and they're being used to create massive tax write-offs. And people are setting up 501c3s, donating, receiving, writing off. And it might sound crazy to say, but my spider instincts go off. When I see a $63,000 synthesizer, right off the bat, I'm like, tax scam.
Or what's the other thing that was attached to that too? Remember, it was crypto.
Yeah.
It was, remember, you would click on it on Sweetwater and immediately take you to a crypto site.
Yeah. So you're like, I'll buy the Colossus, and it's like, well, and then suddenly you get friggin' mirrored over to some crazy website, and it's like, do you want to buy a dresser? And you're like, a dresser for $63,000?
Yeah, it was weird,
Dresser shows up, and you open up, and then 43 midgets run out of it. Like, what? I thought I ordered a Colossus.
Well, the other thing is, what I wanted to say too is, John has a mini boob, right?
Yeah.
And it's a great piece. It's beautiful. It's the cherry wood one he has too, right?
No, he's got the Appalachian cherry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. And does he play it?
Well, let me tell you something right now. I talked to John the other night, and he played the mini boob for me. And it was coming out of the monitors in his house while I was on the phone. And dude, it sounded crazy. I was like, okay, maybe the mini boob, there's something to it. And I know Space Capsule's in the chat. He's got a mini boob. Mini boob is what we call the mini Moog. All right. People are asking.
No. I know it sounds amazing. I mean, I played one, but I still can't wrap my head around a $4,700 synthesizer.
I know.
I just can't. I know. I just, I don't get it. I don't want to get it.
yeah. You ain't getting it, dude. Listen, Juno X, you gotta keep your eye on the prize. Don't deviate, dude, because there's lots of synthesizers coming up now.
Oh no, I'm not. Like I said before, and I'll say it again. The Juno it's got a what do you call it? It's just a good memory for me.
Sentimental value.
Sentimental value, and it's just something that belongs back in my studio, and that's.
Well,
and
I'll
now
tell you
this
what.
one,
I'll tell you
Uncle
what.
Jerry said it though. He said this Juno is a 106 on steroids, and that's.
Yeah, it is.
Uncle Jerry said that, and it totally is.
If you ever deviate from the Juno X, don't take advantage of me. All right, don't mistake my kindness for weakness. If you ever deviate from the Juno X and suddenly you're on the Cream Dream kick and you end up getting a Cream Dream, I'll give you my Juno X because I know you lost your way, all right? But don't take advantage of me.
I won't, but I'll tell you what. You would have to give me a peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah. Hey, I'm telling you, don't sleep on it, bro, because as soon as we get some Polybrute 12s in the wild, and I heard a rumor that there might only have been one run of the Polybrute 12, one and done. I heard that rumor, so you better get one if you want one, because...
No, I don't.
Yeah. Hey, listen, if you get a Polybrute 12, I'll make you peanut butter sandwiches every day and drop them off to you at work. How about that? Deal?
No, I don't. Listen, I still listen to that thing. I've listened to, like you said, there are hardly any in the wild. I don't think I've seen maybe one. Remember that guy was smoking a joint playing it. I don't know.
Oh, was that the Polybrute 12 or the Muse? No, that was the Muse, dude.
Was it the Muse?
Yeah, that was the Muse.
I don't know. But I've seen so many videos, my head is spinning. But I still, the last one I watched, and I sent it to you. And I said, listen to this. What is it? This, to me, I want to, peanut butter has to be freaking thick and fat and stick to your gums, right?
Oh, are you crunchy? Are you crunchy or smooth?
I'm smooth, bro.
Oh yeah, you're damn smooth. You're Echo Kraft, baby.
I don't like the crunchy, you know, but it's got, and I'm not getting that from that synth, man. I keep saying that, and everybody's like, oh no, you don't know what you're talking about. I heard the Muse, I hear the Juno X, I hear the Jupiter X, and I hear that big fat warmth. And the best part is those two Roland synths, they're not even analog.
I know. Someone just said in the chat, Andrew Patak just said, if you get the Jupiter X, you still want the Juno X. I'm telling you, dude, there's something special about these synthesizers. Everybody slept on them because everybody said they're VSTs in the boxes. But I'm still right now, and I bought this out of my own cash. I think they're the future. I think they're the beginning of the future. And there's just something cool and special about it. Wish the screen was bigger, but whatever.
You know, Steve Jobs said the future is now. So, I mean...
That's right.
You know,
hey,
that's all I'm saying.
Every day is a gift. That's why we call it the present. Isaac Cappy, rest in peace.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why I believe that. I believe what you believe. I think that those synthesizers and the whole thing about the Zen Core, you know, and the Roland Cloud, that's where we're going, man. I mean, we're already there. So I don't know, you know, I don't know why I said that's where we're going. We're already there.
Yeah.
It's just going to get better. And I think a lot of synth companies, you know, Arturia, they just gave it up, bro. They gave it up. They said, hey, you can have the whole V collection now and put it on your Astrolab.
Yeah. And
you know, there it is.
I think, dude, I don't know, man. I like the idea. I like the idea of the Astrolab. I hope they make an Astro Pig that's full of knobs, you know, and it's got all the knobs on there. So when you load up the Analog Lab or Pigments, you got all the knobs on there. So it's basically like the most jacked, crazy MIDI controller of all time. That'd be so awesome. Basically like a Juno X, yeah.
Well, it'd be cool if they came out with, like we said before, the Freak, and basically made the engine like Pigments, like you said, with tons of knobs and sliders, and I'd buy that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, big time. You know? Big time.
But you know, I'm starting to lean more towards the you know, getting away from the white, you know, synths, the hospital look and the peanut butter look, bro. I just
what do you get away? You haven't got into it yet, dude. You're all black all the time.
That's it, bro.
Yeah.
Colors too.
Yeah,
I don't mind colors.
Yeah, you like red, black, silver.
I like blue.
Yeah,
you know?
I like blue. Blue's cool.
But that peanut butter and jelly sandwich thing, man, I don't know, man. Maybe if they had a little purple to it, I might have liked it. But
I said that I can get one in 2027 is basically when my synth bank will be topped up enough to get a Polybrute. And by that time, God knows how many synthesizers will be out. My gas will be moved on by then. So right now,
yeah,
I lost, but
who knows? They might have a chip that you put in your head, Samurai, at that point.
I might be half keyboard. I might turn my hand. If I could right now, if you're listening, Uli, I will volunteer myself to remove my right arm and install a Behringer keyboard on my right arm. With one hinge. I want two keyboards. I want shoulder to bicep, one keyboard with a hinge, and I want elbow to hand, another keyboard. Imagine that.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do something with AI and send it to you.
Oh yeah, do it. Yeah, do it. Do it. One arm keyboard samurai. That's cool.
There you go. With a sword in the other.
All right, baby. Listen, I gotta roll.
All right, man.
So
talk.
We got Synth Fighter coming up next week, baby.
That's right.
Big time, big time. And yeah, we'll probably do something this week too. What's tomorrow? Tuesday? Oh, Jesus, it's only beginning of the week. And we're all fired up already.
Right?
Come on, it's only Monday.
Who knows? We might get a visit from Synth Hefner. He's been on the yacht for a while, so we don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, get Synth Hefner on to go, man, because he's got to tell us about the new ladies coming into the Synth Boy Mansion.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens.
All right, you hit me up. You know where I am.
All right, brother.
All right, stay ready to be ready.
All right, bro. We'll talk to you.
All right, you the man.
Peace.
So,
ciao.
All right, that's the calls for tonight. Let me shut this down for a second. I hope you guys had a good time and turn on some music. All right, so that's the Synth Wars call-in show, but I know since all you guys are here, let's check this out real quick, because I had a couple messages come in from, if I jump over here, I had a message come in from the Men in Black The Synth Mafia henchmen have been called off. Would you guys like to check this out? Let's have a look.
Synth Samurai, we have called off Dr. Doom. We have a new plan to get what's on the Juno Diddy hard drive. It will be revealed to you in due time.
All right, man, that's the henchman for Dr. Doom has been called off, so there's something coming down the pipe. And then I got another message from Agent Souls with the Synthesizer Intelligence Agency. And it's a two-part message. Let's listen.
Synth Samurai, we got some big updates. Since I last spoke to you, my position has been compromised. I had to take drastic action. Contacted some local agents down here, and I had to pass them the USB stick. It's already in motion, on its way up to you. The next steps will involve agents that I have close to you right now, delivering you a series of clues, information that you'll need to find the USB stick. The USB stick will be delivered via drone. We've hired the drone operators that I worked with in Cambodia and Vietnam. These guys are the best. You won't hear them coming, and you won't know that the USB stick has been dropped off. But you will need the clues given from the agents, all of them together, in order to find.
So that's part one.
In order to find the USB stick. I don't know how much more I'll be able to hold these guys off. They still think I have the USB stick, so I'm going to keep them chasing me as long as possible, while more distance is created between them and the real USB stick. So what we need to do is to be very careful moving forward. Keep your eyes open. Anything out of the ordinary, take note of it. It could be one of the clues. All right. Well, I wish you the best of luck. Whatever you do, you need to keep that out of the hands of the Synth Mafia. They're everywhere. I'm going to be leaving locations here very shortly. I expect them to be following me out of town. All right, good luck.
All right, I'll tell you what, man, the Agent Souls is on the run. I'll just recap that if you didn't catch it. Dr. Doom has been called off. The Men in Black with the Synth Mafia has got a new plan for me. I don't know what the heck they're talking about. Agent Souls just told me he's got a USB drive with the encrypted keys that's going to be dropped off by a drone, geocached. I'm going to have to go out and pick it up when he gives me the coordinates. I'm going to take the drive back here, and then we're going with episode 2 of the Juno X-Files. Juno Diddy, baby. All right, so listen, you guys have a wonderful evening, wonderful night. Thank you for joining me. It was an absolute pleasure to take all these calls. Absolute pleasure to talk with you guys. I hope you guys had a good time. Keep the vibes high, baby. And listen, let the haters drink the haterade, baby, because we're drinking the Powerade, baby.